If there's something I have always been a fan of ever since I was a kid, it was dolls. Never baby dolls, I never liked those. I did love American Girl, however, and have a huge collection to this day, but not the point of this video. My point is that the dolls I loved the most were fashion dolls. Barbie, especially Monster High, and Liv dolls were another favorite of me and my twin. Another toy we really liked as a kid was My Little Pony, specifically G3 and then G4 once it came out. But my interest in My Little Pony had me watching G1 My Little Pony, which, as most of you know, is from the 80s. Now, I'll admit I hadn't done a ton of research into 80s cartoons before this, but I dabbled in them as a kid. I am a 2000s kid, but I liked all sorts of things growing up. Anyway, the topic of this video mostly came to me when I was talking to a friend who we will call A about girly things I could make a video on. I remember she had previously linked me to a website about old girly toys. She linked it to me again along with about 10 others, and I remembered a doll I had seen previously, Lady Lovelylocks. The name sounded so cute, and from the one thumbnail picture the dolls were adorable, so I looked further into it. I found that Lady Lovelylocks was not only a toy brand that ran from 1987 to 1989, released by Mattel, but that a cartoon was licensed alongside it. I looked it up and was shocked by the lack of Lady Lovelylocks cartoon reviews, so I decided I would tackle that myself. But what is a good dive into a toy brand without some toys? More on that later, stick around to see what valuable choices I made with my money. Before I get more into this, I feel it's important to note that a YouTuber under the name of Lao Skypainter, who's an 80s toy collector, has made videos on these dolls before, but her video doesn't go much into the cartoon, so I felt I still had something to offer. Please check her out though, it was a really pleasant watch. Lady Lovelylocks and the Pixie Tales is a character created by company American Greetings, a privately owned American greeting card company, which is the second largest producer of greeting cards behind Hallmark. The subsidiary company was Cloudco Entertainment, look how cute this logo is, also known as Those Characters in Cleveland, and if you don't know, a subsidiary company is a company that is controlled by a parent or holding company that owns more than 50% of voting stock. In 1987, an animated show was produced by Deke Animation City. The series only lasted for 10 half-hour episodes, or else they're divided on YouTube 20 11-minute episodes. I couldn't find a whole lot on why the series was cancelled after only one season, but it appears to be from low toy sales, which isn't a shock. That's why a lot of toy series at the time were cancelled. Something I find incredibly interesting is that 10 German audio tapes were produced for Lady Lovelylocks, which continued the story past what the cartoon did. It went into things like Lady's childhood and resolved Prince Strongheart's curse by turning him back into a human. I'll explain that later. You're probably wondering, what is Lady Lovelylocks about? Well, it's about our titular character, Lady Lovelylocks, the Princess of Kingdom Lovelylocks. She and the Pixie Tales help keep the kingdom safe from its enemies, specifically Duchess Ravenwaves and her evil schemes. For this video, I have decided to watch the entire series, and while I could just tell you this for each and every episode, Duchess Ravenwaves and Hairball attempt to cut Lady Lovelylocks' hair so they can use its magical power. The plan is somehow foiled by either Lady herself or other allies. But I'm not going to do that, because that would be extremely boring, so instead I'm going to give you a plot synopsis and review of my favorite episodes, or the ones I felt I had the most to say on. While I was originally going to say something about all 20, as I started typing them out, more and more of them became longer and drawn out, and even I got tired of hearing myself do nothing but describe these episodes, so I'll try to only include the ones I deemed the most important, but if you are interested in it after this review, I encourage you to go watch the rest. While it is formulaic, it's important to note that this show, like a lot of shows at the time, especially ones made to sell toys, were like this. It didn't make it any less fun of a watch, and any more boring for the most part. I also want to note that I wrote the description for each episode as I was watching them, but they were modified during the script editing process. While they are my synopsis, they also serve as my observation of the episodes. I tried to throw in some fun comments here and there. Now with all that out of the way, sit back, relax, and listen to me talk about this charming show. We jump straight into episode 1 with the narrator describing how there was a wonderful land ruled by a beautiful lady, Lady Lovelylocks, and her magical friends, the Pixie Tales. It explains how the prince was forced to bear a cruel curse, which we can see visually is to make him a dog, and that the evil Duchess Ravenwaves wants to take over the land of Lovelylocks. This is more of a series intro than anything and isn't an actual part of the episode. Edit from watching more, sometimes it plays at the start of other episodes, sometimes it doesn't. Once the episode actually starts, the narrator talks about how the land is normally peaceful and is kept together by Lady Lovelocks herself. We then see Lady Lovelocks arrive, and she states how she would have never stayed away this long if she knew how bad things were. Then we get this really nasty, well voice acted laugh from Duchess Ravenwaves, who rambles about how basically she tricked Lady into staying away so long. Then back to Lady, where she describes that she needs to get to her looking room to fix the kingdom. Then what I later learned is called a comb gnome attacks and tries to steal some of Lady's hair or something, so Lady sends her pixie tails to get it off. I'm not even through the first episode yet, but it's so freaking 80s, and honestly, I love it so far. While the writing isn't stellar or anything, it has a really nice feel to it. They just don't make stuff like this anymore. We see Duchess again, who talks to this little creature named Hairball. She insults him, but says she won't forget his help, and that she needs some of Lady's magical hair to take over the kingdom. Also, I think it was her or Hairball who sent the comb gnome. Next we see Prince Strongheart and this older guy named Shining Glory. Strongheart can only be himself inside of Shining's crystal for the most part, but with the crystal around his neck, he can become Strongheart for brief periods, but never around Lady. Outside of the crystal, Strongheart is a dog, and Shining Glory is blind. Honestly, when I saw the doll, I thought Strongheart was kind of ugly, but he's actually really cute. I judged him too fast. I do prefer his design in the show since it slightly differs from the doll, but honestly both have grown on me. Next we see Maiden Curlycrown and Maiden Fairhair, who explain that they were begging Lady to return through letters. From the short interaction, I've gotten the idea that Fairhair is more of a straight main character, but that's just first impressions. After this, the three girls kinda just go throughout the town, where Duchess gets on Lady's horse, attempting to cut some of her hair, but Strongheart comes in his dog form and steals the scissors. Lady next gets mostly up to her looking room before realizing Hairball had trapped himself in with her. She covers him with her cape, and the pixie tails go after him too. Lady finally gets to the looking room, and we see this sorta cool technology where she uses her hair to connect to it and fixes the kingdom. Duchess crashes out, nothing big there. Lady talks to Shining Glory and Prince. At the end of the episode, we see a real-life actress, dressed like Lady, who is acting as her, and is talking about the importance of friends and how we should tell people if we're thinking about them, as it makes them feel good and feel happy. Good friends will stick with you through good times and bad, and will know your thoughts and tell you the truth. And that while she makes mistakes, she depends on her friends to help her, and dang, I did not expect a message aimed at 80s children to hit so hard. I tried to track down who the actress that portrayed Lady was, and if I got it right, her name is Jenny Nichols, while Tony St. Vincent plays her in the animated portions. Not sure if I got that right, but information was scarce. No matter who it was, she's so pretty, seriously envying that look right there. I really love the animation in this. It's just got that sweet 80s nostalgic feel to it. The designs are also really nice, especially Lady. She's so pretty! Initially, she was the most bland character to me, but I quickly realized this is actually probably Fairhair and Curlycrown. Anyways, time to go watch more! Episode 2 is about a fancy ball that Lady and her friends are preparing for. When Shining Glory's in danger, a mysterious handsome baron comes and saves him. The same baron later gets Lady into a carriage, and surprise surprise, he was Hairball with Duchess driving the carriage. Luckily, human form Prince comes to her rescue. This episode was even campier than the first, with Hairball menacingly holding the scissors, snapping them back and forth when he could have easily just cut her hair right away, but again, really cute, and the lesson of this one was to not always trust who someone seems to be. Dang, Lady Lovelocks, it's honestly nice that even in the 80s, they were trying to teach nice lessons like that to kids. Again, they have the live-action actress talking about how it's important to get to know someone before you trust them. I think we've all had a Hairball in disguise in our lives. Episode 3 involves Pixie Shine, Beauty, and Sparkle going missing along with the rest of the Pixie Tales. We learn this is because once each century, the Pixie Tales have to journey away, so Lady has to go protect them. Duchess kidnaps Beauty, Sparkle, and Shine away from Pixie Tale Peak while also taking Fairhair and Curlycrown's Pixie Tales. The rest of the episode is Lady saving them and getting home. Lady even helps save Duchess at one point when the two fall into a river, and Duchess decides to just leave because she doesn't have the heart to take hair away from Lady while she's weak because Lady saved her life. See, I watched this for the first time knowing the series didn't get a second season, and it's this sort of thing that makes me really extra sad it didn't. Duchess's motives are never fully expanded upon, and after seeing her do something kind for Lady, I definitely would have loved for them to explore why she's evil. Episode 6 was the first episode that I actually skipped some of. Not that I'm not really enjoying this show, but really nothing happens besides a few chase scenes. Out of all the episodes I watched, this one was definitely the most bland. I'll leave what happens in it up to you to discover, but I'm going ahead and putting it out there that I didn't consider this one very interesting. In episode 8, the narrator tells us that peace and quiet can be a warning of danger. Lady is at a meadow. She and the other pixies wish to nap before lunch, so she asks Pixie Beauty to stand watch. Hairball's devious plan this time involves a sleeping potion to kidnap Lady. Instead of, just cutting Lady's hair, they tie her up, eat all their lunch, and then leave, but Pixie Beauty was left behind. Lady is now kidnapped by Hairball, and they're waiting for Duchess to come back to cut her hair. I don't know why they can't just do it before. A bird almost attacks Beauty, but Prince protects her, and at this point, everyone has realized that Lady is missing. As it is a full moon, Prince is able to turn human again, and does so in front of Beauty, but has her promise to never tell anyone about his true form as Strongheart, especially not Lady. Duchess returns, and Hairball tells her that Lady is secure in the dungeon. Prince gets into some armor to scare off one of the comb gnomes. Duchess taunts Lady about how everyone thinks a bear took Lady, and that no one will rescue her. In the suit of armor, Prince acts as a ghost and comes in claiming he wants Duchess Ravenwaves, and the actual Duchess gives Lady to him, thinking that the ghost is going to get her. Lady, not knowing this is someone saving her, begs the ghost to be let free. Beauty pretends to tell the ghost to go away. The suit of armor deflates, and after Prince briefly shows his face, and Prince the dog is now back. Lady tells the story of how Pixie Beauty rescued her to her friends. Poor Prince, he didn't get any credit for this plan. I'm gonna go ahead and say that they never got a chance to do anything with Beauty knowing about Prince. In fact, I don't think the two even talk again. It's a shame. I was really hoping they'd bring this back up, because the idea of someone knowing about Prince really being Strongheart is incredibly compelling. Also, I realized I haven't mentioned this at all, but the comb gnomes always speak in rhymes. They all have names, but I haven't quite been able to pick up on who is who. Episode 9 starts by saying that trust needs to be earned, but all of us are willing to give someone the benefit of the doubt occasionally, and how even Duchess wants to hope for the best. Hairball is up to making a potion to tangle Lady's hair in hopes that once they spring it on her, some of her hair will fall out. But he ends up tangling Duchess's hair instead, which makes her really, really mad at him, threatening that there won't be a next time and makes her banish him forever? Dang, girl. Curly Crown comes across Hairball, who is lamenting about how he was thrown out by Duchess. She's scared at first, but feels bad that he doesn't have friends anymore. She offers him food at the castle, but internally he's like, this is it! I can get Duchess to take me back! Everyone gets mad at Curly Crown for bringing Hairball to the castle, insisting to her that he's tricking them, but even still, the ever-so-kind lady insists that Curly made a promise, so she has to honor it. 'Cause what kind of friend would you be if you didn't honor a promise, right? So yeah, Lady agrees to give him a chance, but Prince is not happy. Hairball is working as he promised he would, but takes some specks of hair that he finds lying around. He goes to leave, but again, Prince is not happy, growling at him. Hairball does end up leaving, though, and makes his way back to Duchess, who gets mad that he is here, but is happy that he brought some of Lady's hair. But as I predicted, it wasn't actually Lady's hair. Duchess forgives him, though, and takes him back in. But Lady talks about how you have to let people prove themselves, and they would have felt awful if he was being truthful and they cast him aside. Like, girl, you literally had those earlier messages about not trusting people, but I guess I can't lie. Chances are important in friendships, just don't give too many. Can you tell that hits personally? I won't go into episode 10, but I did want to say this. As I was watching this episode, I finally realized why I like Duchess's voice so much. She sounds like Selah Victor, aka Chloe Bourgeois' voice actress from Miraculous Ladybug. Obviously not the same person as Lady Lovelocks was made in the 80s, but if they ever did a reboot, I know who they should cast for Duchess. Episode 11 opens with the narrator, who I've realized at this point is Shining Glory, explaining how everything has its own use, but how some things are dangerous when used by the unskilled. Prince and Shining Glory are on this cliff thing where Shining Glory explains how Hairball never understood the power of nature's forces, and apparently they're doing this to stop him from what he did, which was basically creating a volcano. Duchess is mad because it's in her backyard and tells Hairball to fix it. Snags the comb gnome tells Hairball to bring the crystal ball to Duchess. Snags teases Hairball for being so hesitant, which just encourages him. Shining Glory stops the earthquake, so they decide to go home to the crystal ball, but Hairball and the gnomes are already inside. This episode is already giving us more information on Hairball, as we learn that he created the stairway instead of Shining Glory's crystal ball. The evil crew makes it inside of the ball, cut to Shining Glory and Prince arriving back, where he explains that he needs to rest in his crystal ball. The gnomes and Hairball steal the crystal ball, though. Shining Glory explains to Prince that he needs to get the ball back as soon as possible. Hairball is basically being super power hungry, even saying that he doesn't even need to work for Duchess anymore. Prince shares a letter with Lady about the crystal ball being stolen, who assumes it was taken by Duchess. Before Hairball can announce that he stole the crystal ball, Lady tells Duchess to give it back, saying that the ball will explode if not returned soon. Hairball claims Lady's bluffing, but Duchess knows she isn't, as Lady isn't a liar, and demands he give it back to Lady. Lady gets the ball back and returns it to Shining Glory, and the episode ends. Okay, here's where I'll be honest. On the wiki page for Lady Lovelocks, it is revealed that Hairball is a former apprentice of Shining Glory, and I read that before starting the series. I really thought they'd touch on that this episode, as it was seemingly hinted at, but they don't. Here's to them doing so in a future one. Episode 12 is called Prince's Broken Heart. Yay, Prince focus! Long story short, Shining Glory gives Prince the chance to be human again in front of Lady temporarily, although in a different human form. But as Silky Pup, Lady's dog, had gotten kidnapped, he ended up never telling her about his true self. Poor Prince. He's such a good guy. I'd love to learn what happens in those audio tapes so I can see more on Prince and Lady's future relationship that happens in them. He clearly cares so much about her, and it just breaks my heart that he's cursed to be unable to be his true self around her. That was one of my favorite episodes so far, because Prince is my favorite character writing-wise. Not to make the male character my favorite, but he just has the most interesting story. My overall favorite is Lady, because of how magical and kind she is. Episode 13 confuses me. It's about how being good and doing the right thing isn't always easy when who you're helping is undeserving. Basically, in an attempt to dig up to the castle, Duchess and Hairball get trapped underground. Lady ends up saving them though. Curly Crown even asks if it's really necessary that they save them, but Lady insists that they do because it's the right thing to do. Couldn't be me, I'm a petty breed. I just don't understand this. I'm personally against helping undeserving people, but I think it's a sweet lesson. I just think the world has gotten a lot more evil since this was made. These next ones are a bit longer, so buckle in. With the start of episode 15, we are told that new families don't move to Lovely Locks often, and that a while ago, there was someone new who moved in that Lady badly wanted to make friends with. It is explained that we will be learning the story of that friendship. We are then told about the dragon tree, which is rare for its beauty and the blossoms it grows. Some baby dragons fall out of the blossoms, and now Hairball decides he wants to kidnap them. Hairball easily tricks them into thinking he's their mother and brings them back to Duchess, but Duchess informs him that the mother dragon will be coming to look for them, but there are still great possibilities. Duchess goes to the mother dragon that is looking for her babies and explains that the evil Lady Lovelylocks kidnapped them, and only brings her one baby as that was the only one she could rescue. Dang, girl. Duchess basically manipulates the mother into helping her. Before Lady and her friends can say much about being happy about the dragons, we see the mother dragon, Long Curl Dragon, flying over and trying to threaten the castle. She tries to attack the castle, but Shining Glory puts up a shield to try to protect it. However, Lady must go get something for Shining Glory to keep his energy up, so Lady goes to get it. Have I ever mentioned that Lady's horse is called Silky Mane, by the way? Okay, now I have. Lady finds one of the baby dragons who starts saying Hairball's name, so Lady decides to go to Duchess's castle instead to rescue the other two dragons as she realizes that's where they are. Long Curl follows Lady as Duchess told her to, and sees that Duchess was who had her babies captive. She threatens her and Duchess runs off. The babies run away from the dragon mom because they didn't know she's their mom, and only one of them, the one Lady found, is willing to listen to her, but Lady promises to help her out. That's how the episode ends. That one was so cute. I love the mother dragon Long Curl. The babies are pretty cute too. Episode 16 starts with Shining Glory talking about how not every day is perfect and that facing difficult times is hard, but to realize through faith and hope that good times will return. This episode is a first for the series, in which it is a direct continuation of the last one. It doesn't start on the same scene or anything, but it starts with the Pixie Tales trying to cheer up Long Curl, insisting that her babies will return. However, Long Curl can't do anything but cry a tidal wave of tears. Lady defends Long Curl when Fairhair and Curly Crown mention that the Pixie Tales are complaining about her, and Fairhair suggests that they distract her by throwing a party for her, so she can handle her sadness that way. Lady agrees, saying they'll throw Long Curl a party, and I agree, distractions are good, but I don't think when your kids are missing, distractions are what you need. Duchess and Hairball decide that the party is the perfect time to get rid of Long Curl, as they can't get near the castle with her there. Then the next day we see the party where Lady notes that everyone is having a great time, especially Long Curl, but it's a poor substitute for having the dragon babies back, no duh. She does seem to be genuinely having fun though. While everyone is playing a game of blindfolded tag, Duchess and Hairball are on the side and drink a potion to protect them from whatever they're about to do, which turns out to be setting a bunch of stun powder to temporarily stun everyone. They capture Long Curl, which was easy because Long Curl was blindfolded. Once everyone is unfrozen, her baby explains what happened. Lady gets the Pixie Tales to help construct a raft, as Duchess and Hairball are going to float Long Curl out on the river. Duchess is mad that Lady and her friends followed her, so Hairball puts a spell in the river. As they're about to jump off and leave Long Curl in the river, OMG, it's the other two babies! They go to Hairball because they think he's their mother. Lady catches up and the gnomes start firing beams at them. The Pixie Tails cut Long Curl free. The babies insist on protecting their mom, which is Hairball, but they realize that Long Curl is their real mother. Long Curl and her babies return to Dragon Day, having fun with the town once again. Again, that one was super cute. I really like Long Curl and her babies. Surely nothing happens with them, right? I am going to take an intermission here to say that if you've watched this far in, thank you so much. I know this is a longer video from an underknown YouTuber, and I hope this won't always be the case, but it is right now. I've put so much effort and time into this, and it was really fun to make, even if at the time I'm writing this I haven't even close to finished writing or filming. I'll probably have another thank you section at the end, but be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It really helps me out and helps me grow to a wider audience. Quick trigger warning for episode 17. We're gonna talk about dragon slavery here. I know that slightly spoils it, but I wanted you to be warned. I really didn't expect this before watching this episode, or the series for that matter. I just thought I'd give a quick warning, and remember, I wrote the synopsis as I watched it. Episode 17 begins with Shining Glory saying that people will often take the gifts of life for granted, and that the freedom is the one taken for granted the most. We see Lady, her friends, and Long Curl. Then a man comes out of a carriage claiming to be a friend of Long Curl, but the girls are immediately suspicious. Long Curl looks terrified, and the man, Sir Luce, has evil vibes, but maybe I'm judging too fast? Lady just immediately offers to let Sir Luce stay at the castle, despite being suspicious of him prior. When they ask him how he knows her, he explains that he owns her! Oh my god, no wonder she was so freaking terrified. But cut to the castle where Lady's having tea with Sir Luce, and he says he gets that Long Curl's Lady's friends, but that Long Curl is his property, even showing Lady a document to prove it. He says he used to have her wear a collar to control her, but as she's honorable, she'll do what her owner asks. I did not expect such deep topics, oh my god. Lady wants to know what Sir Luce would like to ask of Long Curl, and he says to join his circus, what the heck. Lady is rightfully shocked by this, but later we see Lady talking to Shining Glory, and Shining Glory says that if Sir Luce owns Long Curl, there's nothing they can do, bro! Duchess and Hairball are interested in this news. Later, Long Curl is about to go for Sir Luce, where it's said that Lady will watch her babies. Long Curl looks miserable, poor girl, but Sir Luce promises to take good care of her, and Long Curl and her babies say goodbye, and then she leaves. Sir Luce quickly runs into another traveler, which is just Duchess and Hairball. They offer to trade him fine diamonds for Long Curl. He's temporarily brainwashed by these diamonds, so Duchess gets away with Long Curl. Lady is now in her looking room and sees Duchess writing Long Curl. Duchess even says she hopes Lady is watching and holds out a paper seemingly proof of ownership. She has ordered Long Curl to destroy Lady's castle and even has the magic collar on her now. Sir Luce realizes that the travelers from earlier, aka Duchess, tricked him, and then he turns into a dragon? Wait, is he actually a dragon? I am so confused. He starts flying to look for Long Curl and spots her. A chase sequence ensues. The babies think Sir Luce is trying to hurt Long Curl, so they end up shooting fire at him. They end up burning the collar off, though. Good babies! Duchess gets blasted away. Sir Luce now talks to Lady in his dragon form and says that people are afraid of things they don't understand, so that's why he appeared human. He says he now understands friendship, and that Long Curl was brave enough to protect him from her baby's fire, even though he was no longer her master. He officially grants her freedom, and the episode ends. Yeah, what the heck? A freaking slave owner gets off the hook just because he saw the errors of his ways? Kill him! Like, I could kind of understand when he was a human. Like, humans are evil creatures. They think they have the right to everything. Not that I'm excusing an intelligent creature being owned at all, but he's actually a dragon that makes it so much worse! I won't focus longer on this because I like this series for the most part. I'll just get more into this with my overall review. Episode 20, called To Take a Castle, starts with Shining Glory talking about how strength is a blessing when used wisely, but it will backfire when used selfishly, which he narrates over some kids playing, having a ball stolen from them and then given back. This is told to be the story of Duchess taking something that isn't hers and the price she paid. We see Duchess and Hairball counting off a list of things and that they're done playing around. We then see Lady in her looking room, and she observes that Duchess is going to attack the castle. Duchess monologues that Lady will wish that she had surrendered long ago. When the first way to get into the castle fails because Lady physically lifted the castle, Hairball tries a ladder, which the Pixie Tails knock over. Lady tells Pixie Sparkle that it's up to her to get word to Shining Glory. Why up to her? I don't know, but she does grab him and Prince. They first think they've trapped some cone gnomes, but it's just a setup. Shining Glory realizes that something is super off about this situation. Turns out what Duchess really wanted was to get Shining Glory away from Glory Manor, and that she didn't want Castle Lovelylocks at all this time. Hairball finally reveals that he worked for Shining Glory many years ago, so he knows all the castle secrets. They did it! They finally said it! Shining Glory realizes that their scheme worked as he talks to Lady, and he, Lady, and her friends head off. Duchess and Hairball are inside the manor, where Duchess states that she wants the manor to barter with Lady. They try to capture Shining Glory with a cage, but fail. Shining Glory gets them in through a secret entrance in which he is the key to. Duchess tells Lady that she'll agree to return Glory Manor on her terms. When Shining Glory disagrees to this, Hairball floods the underground where Lady, Shining Glory, and Prince currently are. Luckily, they manage to avoid the flood by getting on the ceiling. Lady lets the maidens in from the front door. Duchess throws the crystal ball at them, but Shining Glory catches it. Hairball and the gnomes run. Shining Glory tells Duchess that she's beaten and alone, to which she says she's always beaten and alone. Lady says that if she tried to be nicer, she wouldn't have to be all alone. Duchess says she's confused, and that she has to think about it. And that's it with my notes of the series. I could really tell that they had more planned, which, what a shame that it was cancelled after one season. At least there's the German audio tapes, but those aren't super accessible, and there's a language barrier for anyone that doesn't speak German. So what did I think of Lady Lovelybox as a whole? In general, I actually loved it. I thought it was so cute. I had to lower my standards considering this was made in the 80s to sell toys. Some episodes were kind of slow and had plots I didn't care about as much, and of course there's the dragon slavery episode. I just don't feel like that's a great message for kids, but like, in general, it's absolutely magical. Lady is such a lovely character. I'm really sad she didn't take off as a toy line. I feel like she could have been iconic if given more time to grow. I noticed Prince's character takes a dive for the second half of the show, hardly showing up at all. What a shame, he's so cute. Fair hair and curly crown certainly could have used some more development. They feel very one-dimensional, but I wasn't expecting much. Do I recommend you watch Lady Lovelocks? Well, if you're a lover of 80s cartoons, cute princessy things, and are willing to look past a few poorly aged things, then yes, it's all for free on YouTube. I know I described a lot of the big things, but I still suggest you check it out for yourself. Now getting to the toys. Lady Lovelocks dolls were 8.5-inch dolls with colorful hair who all came with pixie tails, who in the form of the toy line were small plastic animal clips that could be clipped into the doll's hair. Fun fact, in Europe, the brand was known as Dame Beauceline? I don't know how to say that. There were 5 dolls released in the original series in 1987. Lady Lovelocks, Maiden Curly Crown, Maiden Fair Hair, Duchess Ravenwaves, and Prince Strongheart. Each doll came with a comb and 3 pixie tail clips, except Duchess, who came with comb gnomes instead. The pixie tail / comb gnomes that came with each doll were the following: Lady Lovelocks, Pink Bunny with pink and purple tail, Purple Bunny with purple and blue tail, and Blue Bunny with yellow and blue tail, obviously meant to mimic beauty, sparkle, and shine. Maiden Curly Crown, Yellow Bird with yellow and pink tail, Green Bird with green and yellow tail, and Pink Bird with purple and yellow tail. Maiden Fair Hair, Purple Chipmunk with purple and pink tail, Pink Chipmunk with yellow and pink tail, and Blue Chipmunk with blue and yellow tail. Duchess Ravenwaves, Pink Comb Gnome with pink tail, and Purple Comb Gnome with purple tail. There were 3 in the series though, so I guess just one of them gets left out. Prince Strongheart, Yellow Mouse with yellow tail, Blue Mouse with yellow and green tail, and Purple Mouse with purple and blue tail. There are many fashion outfits, pets, and playsets in this line. Firstly, for the pets, we have Silky Mane, Lady's horse, and Silky Pup, Lady's dog. I didn't mention either much when reviewing this series, but that's because neither of them do much. Neither can speak, so they're more pets than characters. Anyways, the Silky Mane and Silky Pup toys both came with pixie tails as well, these being birds for Silky Pup and bunnies for Silky Mane. The description for these two reads, Meet Silky Mane. She's the colorful horse of Lady Lovelocks, and Silky Pup, her loyal and playful little dog. Silky Pup helps Lady Lovelocks care for all the pixie tails. What fun Lady Lovelocks has grooming her pets and styling their hair with lots of pixie tails. Silky Pup is so cute, and she's really cheap online too, maybe for a future purchase. In terms of fashion for the original line, they had 4 extra outfits: the party dress, the picnic dress, the riding outfit, and the slumber set. Ah, look how cute the slumber set is! I love sleep-themed things, so I would kill to have this cute, aesthetic, older, pretty sleepwear, for the dolls or for myself, either works. Not to forget the description, it reads, special outfits for every occasion in the kingdom. Each fashion is sparkly beautiful and comes with a hat and a pixie tail to make dressing up more fun. Yep, these all came with extra pixie tails as well. The playsets in the original line were Castle Lovelocks and the Pixie Tails Treehouse. I think the description for these playsets describe them better than I can. The description for the castle reads, Welcome to the most beautiful castle in the kingdom. When children open the castle with a special key and swing open the gates, they'll discover an enchanting courtyard filled with excitement and fun. There's a swing and slide for the Pixie Tails and the maidens. There's a gazebo where 2 maidens can sit and have a tea party, and purchase for the Pixie Tails for Pixie Tail picnics and seesaw for Pixie Tail play. The basket/elevator takes the Pixie Tails up to the guard tower to watch out for Duchess Ravenwaves. Set includes 8 Pixie Tails and lots of accessories, 35 in all. The source I got this from was not able to determine which Pixie Tails came with it, but apparently it was 8 of them. The Pixie Tail Treehouse description reads, The Pixie Tail Treehouse is the magical home of the Pixie Tails. This is where Lady Lovelocks and their maidens spend afternoons with their Pixie Tails, sharing beauty secrets and new hairstyles. Inside, there's a vanity with mirror for Lady Lovelocks and lots of accessories for Pixie Tail House play. Comes with 6 Pixie Tails. I think playsets like this are super cute, and they're pretty clever for marketing too, especially since the Pixie Tails were a huge part of the branding. To end off my ramble on the original line, I'll leave you with a fun fact. Duchess tends to go for a lot of money, at least to me, especially if you find her inbox. If you're a serious collector of these dolls, I guess it's not a bad deal, but it was too much for me to pay for one doll, as much as I wanted her. In 1988, they released the Enchanted Island line. The description of the line was the following. Lady Lovelylocks, Maiden Fairhair, and Maiden Curlycrown dolls have even longer hair and a beautiful new look, and their new friends, Maiden Golden Curls and Maiden Misty Curls dolls, change into mermaids. Clip a Sea Magic Pixie Tail to a Pixie Petal. Lady Lovelylocks and her friends each have special flower-shaped pixie petals of their own. Clip a Pixie Tail to a Pixie Petal, and look, it's even more beautiful. There were 5 dolls released in this line, new versions of Lady Lovelylocks, Maiden Fairhair, and Maiden Curlycrown, along with 2 new dolls of Maiden Golden Waves and Maiden Misty Curls. All these dolls were either dressed as mermaids or in swimsuits with sea-themed pixie tails. I won't go over all the pixie tails for this one, but they were seahorses, turtles, snails, and fish. Like the previous line, there were many fashion pets and playsets released. This line had a lot of pets, so let's start with some of the pets we saw in the series. The baby dragons, Mary Curl, Bouncy Curl, and Sweet Curl. They each came with a brush, comb, mirror, and 1 pixie tail, all of them being mice. Next are the Hide and Peaks, which aren't particularly pets, but they're listed as such. Their names were Perky Peak, Pearly Peak, and Sunny Peak. Each came with a headband, comb, and 1 pixie tail, which was either a turtle, snail, bird, or fish. These ones aren't my favorite admittedly, but hey, some people might have found them cuter than I do. After that are the Lily Tops, these cute, nondescript sea animals. We had Lily Bubble, who came with a fish pixie tail and a hat, Lily Splash, who came with a seahorse pixie tail and a hat, and then Lily Sprinkle, who came with a turtle pixie tail and a hat. For playsets, we had the Fairy Tale Bedroom, the Sea Magic Salon, and the Fairy Tale Swan Boat. The bedroom had a magical seashell bed and vanity. The Sea Magic Salon came with many pixie tails, and functioned as a beauty shop. I had a particular interest in reading about this one. I wonder if you'll see why later. But this dang swan boat, it's beautiful, but it goes for so much online. Anyways, there's not really much on this boat, other than a short description that's not worth reading and what it looks like. I could show you listings for it though. Seriously, at least from what I found, this thing could pay half a month's rent. Moving on, as for the fashion for the Enchanted Island line, we have the plush wrap, the satiny robe, the tea time dress, and the masquerade gown. The picnic and party dress from the first line were released unchanged for this set. Released in 1989 was firstly the Sparkle Pretty line, in which Lady was the only doll released, but there were fashion pets and playsets. The description of this line reads, Shimmer Shine Hair makes Sparkle Pretty Lady Lovelylocks doll the ultimate in hairplay fun. Reach new levels of excitement and fun with pixie tail magic and fairy tale adventures. Sparkle Pretty Lady Lovelylocks doll has long blonde hair, a sparkly royal crown, and shimmer-shine streaks in her hair. She comes dressed in a pink full ball gown with sparkling lace accents. Royal crown can be worn by the little girl also. Special butterfly pixie tails with shimmer-shine hair add to the styling fun. They can be clipped to the doll's hair and even in a little girl's hair. Her pixie tails were butterflies. Also released in 1989, the final doll line I could find was the Ballerina doll line, with the description reading, Ballerina, Lady Lovelylocks, and Maiden Fairhair dolls are beautiful ballet dancers with something special. They have the most gorgeous long silky hair to play with. Each doll comes with a romantic lacy ballet gown with glimmery headband, sparkly sleeves, and ballet slippers. Pixie tail and special flower comb are included to be worn in either the doll's hair or the little girl's hair. Only Fairhair and Lady were produced for this. Poor Curlycrown, but their pixie tails were birds. The rest of what I'm going to talk about, I couldn't find what lines they were released with, if any, and are basically their own lines from my understanding, but some of them may belong to Ballet or Sparkle Pretty, I'm unsure. Starting with pets, we have the Curly Kittens, which I have beef with, I'll get into this later, but they're perfectly cute. Released in 1988, each came with a scent of fresh flowers, aka were floral scented, combs, a bow, and a butterfly pixie tail. For the kittens, we had Creamy Coat, Peachy Puff, Pinky Paws, Purple Purr, Sapphire Shy, and Sunny Soft. For playsets, we have the Beauty Magic Throne, released in 1988 as well. It came with 3 pixie tails. While this thing is expensive, it's not quite the price of an organ. For fashion, again released in 1988, we have the Birthday Party, Garden Party, Tea Party, which is literally just the tea time dress being called Tea Party instead with minor changes, and then the exact same masquerade gown from the Enchanted Island line. They all came with pixie tails as well. Lady Lovelylocks also had several storybooks alongside the cartoon series. I couldn't find much on these, but they look super cute. Okay, well that's all the research and reviewing I have for you. Ha, psych, you thought, well, this next part is going to be review. It's also going to be an unboxing. I've been hinting at this throughout the video, but yes, I bought some dolls to review. After finding out about Lady Lovelylocks, I decided to go on good old eBay and see what I could find for these dolls. Well, most were about $30 for just one doll or so, and just to putting it out there, by no means is that bad for old toys. Just look at the prices of G2 LPS. I found this lot that was really well priced. I'm writing this part before I film the unboxing, so I can't talk about what's in it yet. The unboxing is going to be completely unscripted, as it is a live reaction to what is inside. Please enjoy the unboxing, and Script and me will see you after the review. Hello, I don't know if I can make it clear just how big this box is, but I'm trying. I got like my thing plugged in, so sorry for my room, but yeah, this box is huge, so let's get opening. Okay, let's test, see if I can actually get it in front of me. You might see me a little bit as I'm trying to open it. Trying to cut through the tape on this side, and then cut through the tape in the middle. Sorry, this is gonna be a little bit boring at first. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Okay, so first of all, I see some extras. So let's address these first. I'm gonna do something, give me a second. It smells fine. Okay, so the reason I wanted to smell it is because I bought it from a home that was smoke friendly, and I am not blaming the person for that at all. Like, if you see this, I am not blaming you at all. I absolutely knew that would be a possibility, so let's see what we got for extras. It is the most adorable little rabbit squishy. Look at this, this is so cute. And a little miniature T-Rex with a nice thank you note with a little smiley face on it. This is super adorable. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. This is so cute. And there's another thing in here. Let me actually open it to see how do I get this open. Do I need to like rip it to get it open? Yeah, I need to rip it to get it open. Okay. Oh my gosh, they gave me like a little Lady Lovely Locks, like little thing. This is so adorable. Thank you so much to the seller. This is so precious. Okay, let's move this box out of the way now so you can actually like see my setup. Okay, so we're gonna start with removing all the stuff that was to, all this stuff, this was to cushion it. Okay, oh my goodness. Alright, let's get this. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm not missing anything here. Everything goes up here. Should just be cushion at the bottom of the package. Okay, so this, here we go. This is what I got. Let me actually unwrap this now, but this is the overall of it. So here we are. Okay, so I'm going to flip it over so I can gently get through this. Packaged like super nicely. Like, I just gotta say, like, this is really nice. Okay, so let's take out the items. Okay, so unfortunately the playset did break in transit, but I actually knew this because they mentioned that it was going to be glued together. But I can absolutely fix it. I will get it in a second. I will show it in a second. Okay. Let's get this plastic away from here. Okay, plastic's gone. Okay, I realized a better way to prop my phone was like this, so you could actually see what's going on better. Okay, so you might recognize this as in the previous section. This was the Sea Spa playset. I forget exactly what it was called. I'll have to look to see. I believe it goes something like, here, let me move these out of the way so you can actually see it. I believe it goes something like, you might see me a little bit, like this. I will have to fix this because it was literally, they mentioned that it was glued together, so I will have to fix it, but I'm fine with that. I'm absolutely fine with that. Like, my family is a crafty family. We have hot glue, so we can fix it. Before we get to the dolls, we're gonna get to probably my favorite part of this, besides the dolls, of course, which is this lunchbox. Let me get out of the packaging. Okay, so inside the lunchbox, there's also, let me see if I can carefully get the lunchbox open. Okay, there's like a little latch on it. Here, I'm actually gonna turn the camera off while I figure out how to get this open. Aha, I figured out the secret. So here's the fun thing. Let me move this to the back. Here's the fun thing about this. Inside, it also, and I saw this in the picture, contains a thermos. It's just the latch. So here's the actual lunchbox. It's got Lady on it, and it says Beautiful Dreamer. This is literally like probably my favorite thing ever. This is so precious. I love this artwork of her and Silky Pup. This is so cute. I am so excited to have these little items. Obviously, I'm not gonna actually put like food in them or anything, but I might keep LPS accessories in them because, you know, I'm also an LPS person. But, you know, this opens up. You can actually drink from it. Like, it is a functional cup. But I'm probably not gonna put any drink in it, but it does function. So yeah, let's put these back here. Again, you can probably see me. I actually can't tell. I'll have to check the footage later. But next, we get to the dolls. Okay, so I made sure, like, okay, so I bought these dolls before I had watched the series, but I wanted to make sure that I actually got a doll of Lady herself. So I looked her up, even though I hadn't done my full research into the toys yet, and made sure that I actually got a doll of Lady, and I did. You see here, there's 4 dolls. There's only 3 girls. That's because this one is, I think her name is Golden Waves. I'll put it on the screen if I'm wrong. From the Enchanted Island line, like the mermaid line. She's the one that has spotting on her legs. I was aware that there was spotting on her legs. You can kind of see it. I might restore that later, but I'm not great at doll restoration, so I'll figure it out. But anyways, let's get these dolls out of their packages. Okay, so starting with Golden Waves. Open her. Oh, I did that wrong. Okay. And I'm gonna smell test her. Give me a second. She smells fine, just like old plastic. Here she is. I think this doll is personally really pretty. Her hair is still in like what it looks like to be someone like the original do. I think she's really pretty. I really like the material this dress is made out of. Her head is a little loose, but like it'll be fine when she's displayed on my shelf. Her hair is so long. She is so pretty. I really, really love her. Let's put her to the side. I'm gonna do Lady last. Next, let's do Curly Crown. Just I'll test her as well. I can't really tell on her, but anyways, also none of these dolls have shoes, but here she is. Her hair is a really pretty color, and again, her head is a little loose, but like, it should be fine when she's displayed on my shelf. Then we got Fair Hair. She's got a little bit of a stronger smell. I think it might be a little bit of cigarettes, but again, I'm not mad about that. Like, I can just put Febreze on her and it'll be fine. She's got a little ponytail that's holding her braid up. So It's really cute. I might try to find like an elastic to put there instead. I really like her dress. It's got these really nice colors. And last but not least by any means, we have Lady herself. She got stuck. She got stuck. Yeah, I think she's fine. Okay, so though it's very faded. I couldn't see this in the picture because it's kind of faded, but she does have the multicolored hair that Lady has in the series. Her bangs are kind of like fading back in her head, and again, her head is kind of loose, but these are like really old dolls, so like again, I'm not blaming the seller for that. Like, these dolls are from the 80s, so yeah. She's got like such a pretty dress. I absolutely love this so much. So yeah, let me show everything I got. I thought this was like super cool, especially for the price that I got it for. I will probably write out like a more thorough review in my script, but if I don't, then I don't. But this is everything I got, so thank you for sticking along to this portion with me. Back to scripted confetti here. After I got them all out, I did realize that they all have a faint smoke smell, but again, I'm not mad about it at all. I'm already working to get it out. Love you, seller, you're super amazing. Now, I actually ordered one of the curly kittens too. I believe it's Peachy Puff, but the seller did not respond to me when I asked about shipping, and eventually when I tried to cancel the order, they finally sent it, still giving no response. I now have it, but the packaging was pretty basic and not very exciting, so I didn't include me unpackaging it. But yeah, that little kitten was trouble. Here's a picture of her though. She's bigger than I thought she'd be. In general, I love the look of 80s to 90s fashion dolls, and these girls are no different. They're so precious and have such nice designs. I already mentioned earlier that I wished it would have taken off, but man, I wish it would have taken off. That's the thing with a lot of girls' media from that time. It wouldn't be given time to grow before the companies decided it wasn't making enough profits. It's annoying and unfortunate, but the best we can do is appreciate it now. These dolls weren't my childhood, but they were someone's childhood. Every doll is special to someone. At least, that's what I like to believe. Okay, unscripted ending here. Thank you so much for watching and sticking all the way through. I know it's kind of a long video from someone that you've never heard of before and doesn't have a lot of content currently on her channel, but who knows, maybe by the time you find this, I'll have more. I really appreciate it. I worked really hard on this video. If you'd like to support me, I have a Ko-fi in the description, or you could check out my commissions, either way. Yeah, I can't do this every single time for every single video, but I really thought getting the choice was fun, and I may or may not have done it again. I guess you'll just have to see in the next one. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun researching this and watching it for the sake of the video. Yeah, thank you very much, and if you have any suggestions for what you'd like to see next, be it girly media, anime, manga, books, TV shows, toys, really anything, please just leave it in the comments below and I will try to check it out to see what I can do. Thank you so much, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.